11. It's the Bay FM Health Hour. And very special guest this morning. We certainly do have Mirusia, and she's in with Madonna. And they're all here. We're all here. Actually.
We are.
So let's get back to it, girls, and talk about this pregnancy stuff.
Yeah, so have you actually heard some of the really cool research about the microbiome, the microbiota, that sort of thing in relation to pregnancy?
No.
Because it's interesting, you've automatically, taken your intuition and started eating more. I mean, it's obvious, but fruits and veggies, grains, nuts, seeds, that sort of whole grains. And that's the sort of thing that seems to be impacting on children for the first 1,000 days of their life. What a surprise. Diet's important. So the microbiome research is looking at the number, the breadth of variety of microbiota in the gut, and it all comes from the mum.
Right.
So it's where those foods are the sort of thing that basically increase the health and the health of the microbiome. So have you heard that sort of concept?
I have heard about the first 1,000 days of the baby's life, and that they are the most important.
Yeah.
Also emotionally.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's a really important time.
Yeah, it is. And I think this is one of the things I find, because we do kinesiology at New Leaf, we sort of find that when people have had that massive stress during the pregnancy, or not so much in the pre-years, that's more to do with things like being on antidepressants, anti-anxiety drugs, that really impacts on the child. But certainly being able to just calm your brain down and go, no, I'm going to take it easy, choose what I'm going to stress about and what I'm not going to stress about, let go those things that aren't so important. That seems to be creating kids that are less anxious. Have you, like kids, there's so much anxiety and depression in kids these days.
I know.
It's phenomenal.
You see it all around you and in the news, and it is really sad when you see that, because what is it that did that?
Yeah.
And it's so important to know. So it makes a lot of sense that what you eat and what you do during pregnancy can impact that child's life, their emotions, the way they are, the physical, everything about them.
Because it's been, 27 and 30 years since I had kids. So at the time, there was really nothing. At the time, it was believed that once the babies were in the, inside the placenta, they were basically protected from everything going on with the mother, which of course is crazy if you think about that's what was thought going back nearly 30 years ago. But it was almost like if you got an infection, they didn't think it would affect the baby. If you had some bad food, it wouldn't affect the baby. Whereas now they know that, what a surprise, everything goes through the baby, including those stress hormones.
Yes.
So if we are not doing something to keep that stress under control, that can really impact on the nervous systems of the bubbies and predispose them to things.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And the anxiety, like it really is ridiculous. The statistics with anxiety in children, it's like 1 in 4, 1 in 6, something like that. It's actually worse than things like Asperger's and autism and things like that, which of course are increasing at ridiculous rate. So is there any advice that you would get? Like obviously just taking it easy, choosing what to stress about. You're still doing everything, so it's not like you're saying I'm going to hold myself up in bed for 9 months.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, obviously it depends on an individual circumstance. If you have a major medical issue and you cannot do anything anymore, then, that's the problem there. And you can't be helped. It cannot be helped that you cannot get out of bed. And unfortunately, there are lots of mothers out there who have experienced very difficult pregnancies. But if you are having a normal-ish pregnancy where you can get up and about and do things, I think my advice would be to try and do that as long as you feel that you physically can and that you feel comfortable. But to really follow the instinct, so really listen to your body and listen to yourself, and don't go lifting heavy things because you think, oh, well, I did it before. I can definitely do it now. Inside, maybe I shouldn't be lifting this, pallet of water bottles into my trolley today. I think one of the things that people are afraid of is asking strangers for help. And when it comes to things like that, it's okay to say to somebody, excuse me, but would you mind helping me? We're all here on the planet to help each other, really, aren't we? And, I was in Sydney the last couple of days. It was my last flight that I took during this pregnancy. Now, I had a suitcase with me, and, I just had to say, excuse me, sir, but would you mind just helping me with my suitcase? And the response is, oh, of course, and you get into a conversation. It's lovely. And, I think it's those things that that will really help a pregnant woman is don't be afraid to ask and just be relaxed and enjoy it. It's been really an amazing experience for me, and I'm on all of these mothers groups on Facebook and whatever, and women that are due in December like myself. And a lot of them are saying, oh, I can't wait for this pregnancy to be over. I'm so over it. And I'm just like, well, I'm really enjoying my pregnancy, and I really don't want it to be over. I'm having such a good time, and I'm really enjoying that. And, the last couple of weeks we've started feeling the kicks come in, and,
Lovely.
It's a really exciting feeling to feel that there's a little human growing inside. And I think it does remind you every day, oh, got to take it easy today because there's the little baby.
What sort of challenges have you seen with your friends with their pregnancies?
I think a lot of the time with my friends, because I'm in the entertainment industry, challenges come from, for example, breathing, where we're singing, so we're needing to breathe a lot. So towards the end of the pregnancy, that can be impacted.
Right.
But if you have morning sickness and you're a singer, that really impacts your voice because it's passing straight through the vocal cords and the vocal tract. So, you're really struggling there as well. Just sicknesses like that, they keep you off stage. Traveling can be really difficult. So, for example, recently there was a tour to Mexico, and we were advised not to travel all pregnant women on the tour, just simply because there was the risk of contracting the Zika virus.
Oh, okay.
So those sorts of things, they actually prevent you from working, because you can't.
Yes.
That was my work. I couldn't go. All right, So those are the sorts of things that in the entertainment industry that we run into. I think obviously our gowns, I've had to buy a couple of maternity gowns to wear on stage because my dresses aren't fitting me anymore, but the audience, they love it when I say on stage. Normally I'd do a quick change now, but I only have one gown that fits. The audience, they just love that, and we do it together, and a concert is together with performer and audience. So that's been really fun, but the travel has been a little bit tiring at times, especially when you need to sit for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And this is not something that's encouraged, because you really need to move every now and then. You really need to get up ultimately every half hour, to really just move, get that blood flowing, and then you can go and sit down. But when you're on a flight, like me, for example, last month I was on a flight to Chile in South America. This is a 15-hour flight. So I can't just keep getting up every half hour and, got to get up, it's time again, So, those sorts of things, that is hard, and you do feel that, a bit of pains and things like that. But it's all.
And I suppose that's where being able to choose to do, say, Epsom salts hot baths, or, some essential oils in the lower back that are nice and gentle for pregnancy, and, doing some things to sort of just help to relax that spine and, Yeah. Is hubby a good masseuse?
No. I think one of the best things that I've been able to do is to actually be able to lay down where I could, and I've been lucky with that I've been able to do that. But there's lots of women out there who are still working right up to the end of their pregnancy full time. They're on their feet. We get swollen ankles at the later stages of our pregnancy. We get a bit clumsy and big, and we're a bit top heavy, sort of, So that's really hard, and I really look up to those women that can manage to do that.
But just allowing those women to have that confidence to ask for help and choose when to have a seat, and sort of, we really need to be a bit more mindful as a society, don't we?
Sometimes, I mean, travelling yesterday, I was at Sydney Airport, and I'm very lucky that I got a seat to sit on.
Yeah.
But I can imagine there are times where there's just hundreds of people, pregnant woman comes in, and nobody really looks up from their smartphone to offer a seat. And, I think, we are a little bit self-absorbed nowadays. We have our phones, and we're obsessed with tweeting about our lives and looking up the news and what's everyone else up to. I've got to beat them at being the most interesting person on my Facebook timeline. So I think do as a general public, look up and do see the people around you. Is there somebody there who's pregnant or maybe has a disability? Give them a seat. Have a chat with them. it's interesting. My husband and I are true believers of putting the phone away and actually talking to people and looking them in the eye and saying, how are you today? You know, and actually having a conversation, not via a screen.
Yeah. It really is an important message, isn't it?
Very important. Very yes. I know it's not observed in a lot of places, but yeah, a great message.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the thing everyone can do for Friday the 13th, Black Friday.
Be kind to
Make
everyone.
it a different colour Friday. Make it a yellow, bright Friday.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Black Friday. It's got an interesting history, doesn't it? So yeah. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today, Mirusia. That's been fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been really lovely to chat away.
Yeah, it's been lovely to be here. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you for coming in to visit us. And I'm sure a lot of ladies out there, it's only the ladies that get pregnant, isn't it?
Well, the hubbies are
At the
right there
moment?
beside
At the
them.
moment.
Yep.
Yeah, good point.
But I'm sure, yes, you've certainly helped a lot of people. So
I did have a funny moment this week at work. I was doing one of my tests and I had to put in male or female, and I thought, now in Canada at the moment, would I be able to write male or female with these new kids being born and not choosing a gender? Just an interesting thought.
Yeah.
One of my little thought bubbles this week.
All right, well, listen, good luck. What did you say, December 7th?
December 7 is the due date, so
Yep.
who knows? It can happen at any time.
I've got a grandbaby due mid-January, so my first grandbaby.
Wow.
She'll probably go December, I'm guessing. But anyway.
We'll let everyone know when it does happen.
Yes, please
There you go.
do. Thank you.
All right, Mirusia. And Madonna, you're coming back very shortly, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Right here at 100.